What's harder, the diet or the training? Neither. Hi guys, I'm Martyn Ford, and today I will be explaining to you what my diet looks like, how I eat, what I eat, and when I eat. Food and nutrition to me is something that weighs heavy. It's something that I don't ever underestimate the importance of, and also how it can work good and how it can work bad. From someone who's had experiences with food on both sides, I can tell you from my heart that if you don't understand food properly, if you don't respect food, it can lead you to a terrible place. The big thing when trying to add on size is to be consistent with food. Don't skip meals, don't miss meals, don't try and catch up meals, don't eat empty calories. Empty calories will not only leave you with bad weight, it will also leave you with horrendous energy levels. And if you're going to try to put on muscle, the last thing you need to feel is tired, lethargic, and loss of motivation. Training for House of David was so much fun. The first time I met the director, he told me, I don't want you to be lean, I want you to be big. So just eat, which was incredible because there was no stress worrying about calories. There was no stress on worrying about turning up to work a certain way. I just had to be big, which for someone who enjoys food, well, it's better than the paycheck. The philosophy behind my diet is very simple. Eat when I'm hungry, stay healthy, pick wisely, and most of all, enjoy. The foods that tend to be in my diet are very simple. Fish, chicken, steak, eggs, oats, rice, sweet potato, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, oils, you name it, it's in. There's nothing new to the way that I eat. It's not rocket science, it's very basic, and most of all, it's been sensible. How do our meals look? Well, breakfast is very simple. I keep it consistent. Oats, egg whites, maybe a couple of full eggs, depending on how much fat I need during the day. And there will be some fruit, there'll be lots of water. If you vary your foods too much, it's very difficult to see what's working and what's not. So although I am a massive advocate of eating to your natural appetite, take time to consider what foods you're consuming. Lunchtime, this is where you get to open up the doors of opportunity. As long as there is a balance with carbohydrates, fats, and proteins, you're on to a win. Carbohydrate, sweet potato, rice. Proteins, fish, chicken, maybe a steak. Try to avoid pasta. I'm not saying pasta is good or bad, but like I said, make sure you understand what foods work for you and what foods don't work for you. Doesn't respond well to me. Protein sources, chicken, go to turkey, go to salmon, cod, quality forms of protein, and tastes great, unless I cook it. Dinner is basically a replication of lunch. There's no incredible philosophy to this, it's just common sense. I will say one thing, if you're trying to lean up of an evening, I will reduce the carbohydrates slightly and maybe increase the fats to stop the cravings. Too many secrets, we're going to end there. I definitely avoid processed foods like the plague. Counting macros for me is a thing of the past, mainly because I'm terrible at maths. I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong to count macros, but what I will say is make sure you are understanding the reasons why you count macros. Just as you can get fantastic results, there is a very big risk that you can make yourself ill. Be sensible, don't be greedy, and your body will give you the answers that you require. Supplementation is something that I am a big advocate of, especially when you live a busy lifestyle. I don't want to destroy the supplementation industry because they have some quality supplements there. However, do your research, understand what supplementations will work for you. Also, this is something you add to your diet. The results will come from training and food and water. Training definitely depends on schedule and it depends on outcome. Make sure you're asking yourself, what's the purpose of training? Why are you training? This is something I ask myself daily. Training for House of David, it was higher carbs, it was higher fats, moderate proteins, and it was eating consistently. Training wise, it was very much like a strongman training regime. And I figured that that was a look that would be more natural to House of David. So there was big lifts, there was long rest. There was even food and supplementations of sorts in between the lifting. Terrible for conditioning, incredible for strength. Pre and post workout is essential. For me, if I'm going to do a pre-workout in the morning, I'll have all of the stims under the sun because it makes a massive difference. You can switch on, you can focus, you can push, you can train hard, and you know you've done a workout. But I am very cautious of taking that pre-workout after 2-3 p.m. because I will sleep terrible. Obviously, after the workout is the time to refuel. If I can get home quick enough, I will get the refueling process started with food. If it's a long drive home, that's when the protein shake comes into play. Favorite carb, sweet potato. Go-to comfort food, sweet potato. Favorite protein, sweet potato. No, I'm joking. Salmon or a good steak. Anorexia was one of those I had 20 odd years ago, which came on the back end of depression. It was something that I was never expected to have happened to me, but it's something that was probably the best lesson I could ever learn in life. I will tell you, and if you don't know, you're going to laugh, but I used to play cricket at a good level. When the realization of not being able to play cricket professionally, depression hit, losing the motivation to train, losing the motivation and understanding and purpose of life definitely came in. And being 19, 20 years old and going back 20 years not having the information on food, well, you end up in real trouble. The person that helped me was a trainer who was an ex-professional footballer. He had no understanding of macros, but a massive understanding of good and bad foods. And for me at the time, that was an adaptation that made sense. And I could find similarities, and then within that, I found trust. It just made sense to me. I doubled my weight within months to the point where people were just looking at me, the jaws down, going, what the hell happened here? And I made sure that I would turn heads, people would notice me. It was my way of saying to the world, I don't need to fit in. I'm very happy with who I am, and if you don't like that, well, I'm a lot bigger and scarier than you, so tough.